So good morning. It's the 5th of August, and we're out here yet again at the Treasure Vault Mine. Today is not going to be an intense documentation day. I'm going to take a couple pictures. There's a few things I want to verify with some documents that I have, and then I want to do some sketches of the area so we have that as a reference piece. It's easy to kind of link them all together and see the different parts as opposed to looking at individual pictures, because a lot of these sites, as you can tell even just from this, are overgrown. We're also going to go to the Tip Top Mine, which is about 1.5 miles southwest of us, and we're going to do some exploration there because the workings there are really unique and they don't really have any similarities with any of the other workings around here. And you'll see why when I take some videos. But beyond that, I wanted to take this chance to answer a question that I've been getting a lot of, and that is basically, why does this matter? And why are we doing this work to preserve these mines? And the answer actually to me is pretty simple. For some people it does matter, for some people it doesn't matter. There is never anything in the world that we're going to do that's going to appeal to everybody, at least not that I know of. But for those of us that are interested in this and that look at these mines and can try to imagine our collective history as a species and where we fit on that timeline, if you will, of all the different places we've been and where we're going. For those of us that live in the American West, mining and the mines are an incredibly important part of that history. But beyond that, for me it illustrates a different way of living that really didn't go away until 70 years ago. And that was the life that people were able to live by going out into the natural world like this, finding things that we could then prescribe value to, like minerals, and then making a living extracting those minerals. Most of the people that did that up until the 60s or 70s, or a lot of them at least, they were individual miners. This mine here was worked by 2 individuals up until the mid-60s, if not longer than that, the McClures. And for me, it gives me a different way of thinking about life and what it is that I want to do and what it is that I can do when I look at the examples of those that came before me. The American West is a lot of things. We romanticize it, but there's a lot of truth in that romance. And there was a freedom up until probably the 1970s that people had out here to kind of make life as they saw fit within certain bounds. And that freedom is definitely something that we've lost as we've just blown up population-wise as a species. There's an old saying that the more people there are, the less freedom each individual has. And that's definitely true when we look at the American West. But there's still a chance for us, any of us that are interested in this, to come out here and kind of envision that freedom and to find a little piece of it in ourselves as we explore these places. So it matters because it can allow those that are open to it to imagine a different way of being. And I think that's really helpful to move through the difficulties of life. Not to mention it pays respect and reverence to those people that came before us, because we really do owe them a lot, more than I think that I can understand, as far as the work that they did, allowing me to live the life that I have. Because they worked in these mines all the time, I can drive my car out here, park it, hike for 5 or 6 hours and explore them, get back in my car, drive home, and have a good meal and a hot shower. These gentlemen, they didn't have that. They didn't have the ability. The McClures, for example, they worked this property and then they lived right over there. And for quite a while, they didn't have a hot shower. So I think that it can help those that are open to it look at the struggles they have in life and put it into perspective and say, wow, it could be worse. I also think that it gives us a way to look at our past and appreciate those people that came before us, something that I think a lot of people would argue is missing in the fabric of American society. And beyond that, it can help us appreciate nature, it can help us appreciate the work that we can do in the world, and it can help put our lives into perspective and the whole scope of human existence. So for those of us that are interested in this and that want to find it, that is why preserving these mines and telling the stories of the people who lived and worked out here matters.